We're going to begin here with problem number 1, part A. Our goal is to add or subtract the rational expressions and then leave our answers in a factored form. Okay. So we can clearly tell this is adding two rational numbers. Let's zoom in just a little bit. So when we do this, first thing we want to do is we want to factor first. Notice this note right up here in the top in all caps. Don't forget to factor first. And what that means is see if you can factor and then maybe simplify some of your expressions before you start trying to add them. Okay. So what we notice is we have a denominator of 2x plus 2, and then on the right side a denominator of x plus 1. And there's a couple ways we can go about doing this, but if we want to follow the manner or the structure that we typically use with this, we're going to see if we can factor either of these denominators first. So x plus 1 cannot be factored. That's as simple as we can write that. But 2x plus 2, those two terms have a factor in common. They both can divide by 2. So I'm going to factor that 2 out. I want to divide both of them by 2. And then if I do that, 2 times x would make the 2x, and then 2 times 1 would make the 2. So that means the factored form for that denominator is 2 times x plus 1. We keep a 4 on the top. And then in the denominator over here, we have x plus 1 with a 1 on the top. So we notice pretty quickly that, okay, now these look a little more similar. Now we have a common factor of x plus 1 in both denominators, but they're not common denominators just yet. And that's because this also has a factor of 2. This one does not. So one thing we could do is we could just multiply the bottom factor, x plus 1, by 2, and then that becomes 2 times x plus 1. But if we multiply the denominator by 2 here, we also have to multiply the numerator by 2. When we do that, we get 4 plus 2 over 2 times x plus 1. If I just move this 2 in front, that just makes it look a little more like they're the same. We have 2 times x plus 1 in the denominator here as well. Now that we have a common denominator, we can just add, keeping that same denominator, 2 times x plus 1 in the bottom, and 4 plus 2 makes 6. So now I have one last step, and that is to see if I can simplify this. Are there any factors that cancel out top and bottom? And if I think of the number 6 as 2 times 3, and if I think of it that way, I would do that because then I would realize, well, wait a minute, this has a factor of 2, and so does the denominator. So then I can divide the top and the bottom by 2, cancel that factor out, and what's going to be left over is 3 over x plus 1. So that's how we simplify our first expression.